Hi, I'm Neal Laurenza. I'm the managing director at SkyMap Games here at the Game Assembly co-working space and video game development community in Manchester.
And I'm David Carrigg. I'm an instructor at SNHU. I run the game programming and development degree there. And also, I'm an admin here at Game Assembly. And we were just talking about the game industry as a whole, as well as the game industry here in New Hampshire, which is quite small, surprisingly small. So the industry as a whole is somewhere around
Something like 80 or 90, somewhere between 80 and 90 billion dollars a year. And actually, it has surpassed the music and movie industries combined, which
Yep.
is pretty impressive. So video games are definitely the largest form of consumer entertainment right now. The New Hampshire industry a little bit smaller. Our space on an average day we might have anywhere between 12 and 15 developers here at the Game Assembly, and many of them are working here full time on games. But that's probably a good 75% of the New Hampshire industry as far as we know. There are some others out there in like Portsmouth and other areas, but
Yep.
a lot of the video game industry is here in Manchester.
Yeah, and our office is located in the same building. It's right on Elm Street, 1077 Elm Street. It's same building as the Bridge Cafe. So if anyone goes to the Bridge Cafe, feel free to stop in anytime. The industry here in New Hampshire is mainly comprised of smaller independent game developers. These are teams between 1 to 5 people, and they're doing either working on their own projects or doing remote contracting work and stuff. And so one of the goals of Game Assembly is sort of bring that community together to try and create this hub to essentially light a fire and start this game industry here in the state. We have these talented local developers here. We're growing and tackling more complex and larger projects, all the time. We have a handful of different schools in the area as well that are, with game development specific programs. SNHU, we have a couple degrees. NHGI has a 2-year program.
Yeah.
And then even schools like, UNH have the classic art and computer science type programs, which is the exact same
Even high
skill
schools
set.
too now. I think what was it? There was a MHT. Is that what the name?
MST.
The MST. Yeah, Manchester School of Technology.
Yep.
Like a high school that actually has a lot of gaming centric classes, which is pretty exciting. So we see younger and younger people getting more and more excited about entering the games industry. And the roles and jobs within games are changing a lot too. We see a lot of people who are even exiting SNHU that they're not only going into video games, but they're also going into other applications where games are really interesting, being used, like just Children's Hospital, I think was one.
Yeah. We just did a project with Boston Children's Hospital, which was a training simulator. All the exact same technologies that video games use, the exact same skill sets, across the board. When you think about what video games really are, they're really complex software projects, right? It's really what they are. They do all the exact same things that any other piece of software does, except we're doing it 100 times a second and updating it on your screen and drawing really cool, like complex graphics and stuff. And then also adding on all those fun gameplay elements and everything along those lines. Yeah.
Speaking of fun, we also work, in addition to having all these great projects on, for Boston Children's Hospital, for example, with SNHU, there's also the less serious side of games. Of course, making projects that are just meant to get people as excited and happy as possible. So within our space, we have a couple of different projects going on, one of which is our game Bacon Man. It's a SkyMap Games production that just launched in March. And now we're actually working on helping other game developers from around the country to port their games to systems like the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. So even though we are a very small industry here in New Hampshire, the projects that we're working on are very serious and complex, and and span all different platforms. We're launching games on on PC and mobile devices, but then also on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch, and so we're really developing games, games that are made here in Manchester on all of these different platforms.
Yeah, and selling to an international audience. So there are people that do things like speed run our game Bacon Man that are from Russia or other countries that we'll never meet these people, we'll never know who they are, but they enjoy playing our games, and that's a really exciting thing that games can help bring Manchester and help bring New Hampshire to a global audience. So that's something we consider very exciting.
Yeah.